so early December, there's a conversation or a text message with Minister Ayres.
Minister Ayres.
In which you made inquiries about the process.
Correct.
What did you ask?
What the process would be.
And what did the Minister say?
Nothing. And then I think a week or 2 weeks later, he sent me the ad.
Okay, so there's two contacts in December. There's a time where you raise an inquiry.
Okay, yeah.
And then there's a time he sends you a text message. Do you have the text message exchanges with you?
No, I don't, because I've got a different phone today than what I've had then.
Do you understand that, for example, any other person who may be interested in filling this role might not have had the opportunity to pick up the phone to the Minister for Trade and say, hey, can you give me an update as to what's going on with this job?
Remembering, I was a member of the National Party, not the Liberal Party.
Well, not at this point in time, you weren't a member of the Liberal Party.
Sorry?
You weren't a member of the Liberal Party at this point in time.
Goodness gracious, I hadn't been a member of the Liberal Party since I was 17.
Yeah. Well, we all eventually received the lights.
Maybe I should have joined you guys.
Well, if you need a union, let us know.
Kaboom! You've been lawyered.
The selection report, the final report that was signed, makes it very clear that your referees were very important consideration.
Right.
And in fact was the reason why they had confidence to proceed with your appointment. So, but I ask you again, who was your third referee?
I won't be answering that.
Why not?
I don't think I have to.
It is not a lawful question from the Parliamentary Evidence Act's point if it seeks information that the witness may believe is privileged or is...
No. The whole purpose of the Parliamentary Evidence Act is to override. It's not the Evidence Act. This is not whether the witness is not giving evidence under the Evidence Act of New South Wales. He's giving evidence under the Parliamentary Evidence Act.
My third referee was the former Premier of New South Wales, the Honourable Barry O'Farrell.
You've been lawyered.
But again, Mr. Barrow, do you understand the perception that is created when a former leader of the Liberal Party is giving a reference to a former leader of the National Party for a job like this?
Kaboom!
Can I just ask you about just another aspect of your resume which has surfaced in the public debate, for which I think you're entitled to provide your side of the story on. But you see here on page 6 that you list yourself as being a board director of Smarter Region CRC. Do you see that at the top of the page?
Yes.
At this point in time, there was no board of Smarter Region CRC, correct?
Well, I disagree with that. I disagree with that. And I saw the story in the press. I was asked to join that board. It was a board. The CEO used to address the members as board members. There were minutes for those meetings. Maybe the term director is incorrect. It should have been maybe just board member. Maybe the term director should be swapped for member.
Yes. But you understand in the process of assessment that perhaps you should have gone into more detail about what precisely that role was?
You've been lawyered.
No one disputes your ability to have access to this information as a minister. But, Minister, you're aware that the Ministerial Code of Conduct says that information gained through ministerial service should not be used for private benefit. You're aware of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely refute that I used somehow information that wasn't available to anybody else. Refute it.
You just made that up. Withdrawn lawyer.
The unfortunate series of events is this, is it not, Mr. Barrow? On the 16th of September or thereabouts, you lodge a cabinet submission to convert them into ministerial appointments. On the 24th of September, you've declared to a court you're intending to resign. On the 27th of September, the cabinet agrees with your submission. On the 1 October, the Premier resigns. On the 4th of October, you resign. Equally, it does look like that cabinet submission was being put forward urgently because you knew that at some point Ms Berejiklian was likely to have to resign because, as you've already admitted, you have been a witness in the ICAC proceeding. It does look like you fast-tracked that cabinet submission in order to be in a position that the job was vacant at the time when you could therefore thereafter apply to it. If we had to believe your version of events, Mr. Barrow, we have to basically conclude that you're one of the luckiest men in New South Wales politics. You're honestly telling me that the urgency around the cabinet submission wasn't at all related to the fact that you anticipated that at some point in the future Ms Berejiklian would have to resign.
Kaboom! You've been lawyered.
Somebody